Hi, it's Dennis Daly. Thanks for joining me as we continue a trip on Amtrak from Palm Springs to St. Louis. Well, a lot of day has passed and we're in Alpine, Texas. Let's look on a map and show you. Alpine isn't quite in the middle of nowhere, but as you go along, you see some gorgeous scenery out here and a lot of wildlife. I didn't have the camera ready when we saw 25 or 30 antelope about 20 minutes ago. This is Alpine, and then there just isn't much between here and our next stop tomorrow morning, which will be in San Antonio. I spent most of this full day here in the observation car, a beautiful place to watch the world go by, sitting in luxurious seating with all these great windows. But next to me for a while was a woman who seemed more concerned with her handheld device. I don't know whether she was trying to pick up a signal or not. You can't really use the cell phone out here in the middle of nowhere. If you're an airplane, though, you can get a signal from a tower like this. The scenery in the Big Bend part of Texas is very, very, very varied. Everything from little tiny towns to arid areas of nothing. But there is a lot of water and foliage out here, which is something we don't have in Palm Springs. I was really happy, though, that my GPS did receive signals out here, because looking out of my roomette, I got a great sense of what was going on, especially when the train slowed down. Here we are doing under 10 miles an hour. The reason? Amtrak has to take second place to all the freight that goes across America. Here I am walking to my room. It was roomette number 11, and when I slide the door open, you'll see just how narrow the room is. Barely a room in there to place a wide seat with a little place to stand up. Oh well. It takes a long time to get your sea legs, though, on Amtrak. Here I am going down one of the narrow aisles, and I'll make a turn to look down the area where you go downstairs. If you're older and chubby as I am, you really have to hold on. And when you walk down the aisles, you sometimes feel like a drunken sailor. I'm not kidding. These trains lurch around a lot. And then you go from car to car like this. You press, the door slides open, you go over these two plates hoping the train doesn't derail right there, and the next thing you know, you're in the next car. So finally, you go back to your roomette and look at the approach of night. Check the GPS, you're in the middle of nowhere, and then night starts falling. And you know, after a day of wonderful eating, looking at the scenery and walking around like a drunken sailor, you want to go to sleep. And Amtrak has placed this routing across the Big Bend section of Texas overnight. And there isn't much out here. So maybe it's a good thing to spend the overnight going through a part of Texas that's kind of ho-hum. Our next stop tomorrow morning will be San Antonio, where they will split the train in half. Some will go on to Chicago, and some will go on to New Orleans. And so my roomette was placed in a sleeper car that hopefully will be routed the right direction. So when we greet you again, we'll say good morning from San Antonio, Texas, as our Amtrak train trip continues. I'm Dennis Daly.